Gaura Bhakta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 32, Text 30. Etadve Shraddhaya Bhaktya Yogabhyasena Nitya Saha Samahitatmanhe Sango Viraktya Paripashyati. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This perfect knowledge can be achieved by a person who is already engaged in devotional service with faith, steadiness, and full detachment, and who is always absorbed in thought of the Supreme. He is aloof from material association. So what is the easiest way that we can gain perfect knowledge and detachment from the world? Is by engaging in devotional service. Devotional service with faith and steadiness automatically gives us perfect knowledge and detachment from the world. We don't need to endeavor separately. We only need to engage in with sincerity in devotional service, and automatically we will get knowledge, perfect knowledge and detachment. Just like, I'm sorry, Prabhupada would give the analogy, just like when we are hungry and we begin to eat food. So when we eat food, we get strength and we get satisfaction and detach from hunger. It happens automatically. So if we are hungry, we eat food, we get strength, we get nourishment, and our hunger is satisfied. Similarly, when we engage in devotional service, we automatically get perfect knowledge and detachment from the world. The atheistic mystic practitioner of yoga cannot understand this perfect knowledge. Only persons who engage in the practical activities of devotional service in full Krishna consciousness can become absorbed in full samadhi. It is possible for them to see and understand the actual fact of the entire cosmic manifestation and its cause. It is clearly stated here that it is not possible to understand for one who has not developed devotional service in full faith. The words samahitatma and samadhi are synonymous. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna that Arjuna, I can be known only by devotional service. So if we at all want to understand the absolute truth, we need to engage in devotional service. Devotional service begins by hearing and chanting. That is how devotional service begins. So the more we hear, the more we chant, the more we will be able to realize the absolute truth. More we will be able to understand Krishna's position and our position. Reading on. Iti etad kathitam gurve jnanam tad brahma darshanam yenano bhutyate tattvam prakrite purushasya cha. My dear respectful mother, I have already described the path of understanding the absolute truth, by which one can come to understand the real truth of matter and spirit and their relationship. So Lord Kapila Dev, he has been speaking the Sankhya philosophy, which leads to devotional service to his mother Devahuti. And he's telling her that by this you can understand the absolute truth. The absolute truth. Understand the absolute truth and understand the relationship between matter and spirit. So, Jnana Yogascha Manishto Nirgunyo Bhakti Lakshanaha Dvayor Api Eka Evartho Bhagavad Shabda Lakshanaha. Philosophical research culminates in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After achieving this understanding, when one becomes free from the material modes of nature, he attains the stage of devotional service. either by devotional service directly or by philosophical research. One has to find the same destination, which is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the purpose of research, the purpose of uh, the philosophical speculation, philosophical research is to come to the point of Krishna. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan man prapadyante Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. Krishna says also to Arjuna and Bhagavad Gita that one who is in knowledge, after many births and deaths, he surrenders unto me. He understands that I am the Supreme Lord, and he surrenders unto me. So either we take the philosophical research or we take devotional service. The point is to come to understand Krishna, to understand God. Who is God? Who am I? What is my relationship with Him? And how to be situated in this relationship. This is the entire subject matter of spiritual understanding. So it is said in Bhagavad Gita that after many, many lives of philosophical research, the wise man ultimately comes to the point of knowing that Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is everything, and therefore he surrenders unto him. Such serious students in philosophical research are rare because they are very great souls. Yeah, Krishna says, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha, because not everyone who is doing philosophical research comes to the point of Krishna. And when one comes to the point of Krishna, when one surrenders to Krishna, Krishna says such a soul is very rare. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. He's calling him a Mahatma, a great soul. So anyone who surrenders to Krishna is a great soul. If by philosophical research one cannot come to the point of understanding the Supreme Person, then his task is not finished. His search and knowledge is still to be continued until he comes to the point of understanding the Supreme Lord in devotional service. So the goal of philosophical research is to come to understand Krishna. Till the time we have not come to understand Krishna, that means our research is not yet complete. One has to continue the research till one comes to the point of Krishna. And when we come to Krishna, what do? We surrender. Sarva dharmam parityagya mam ekam sharanam raja. Krishna says, you surrender unto me. Abandon all varieties of religion. The opportunity for direct touch with the personality of Godhead is given in Bhagavad Gita, where it is also said that those who take to other processes, namely the process of philosophical speculation and mystic yoga practice, have much trouble. After many, many years of much trouble, a yogi or wise philosopher may come to him, but his path is very troublesome, whereas the path of devotional service is easy for everyone. So the yoga process takes a very long time. It takes thousands of years. And we don't even have that kind of lifetime in Kali Yuga. And one of the drawbacks of the yoga path is that the yogi gets mystic powers. So these mystic powers mm, can deter the yogi from his path of attaining the Supreme Lord. He might get so carried away by getting these powers that he may stop his further yoga processes to reach the Paramatma. He's happy to get this mystic powers, which are really great, you know. So the point is that the path of devotional service is the shortest. It is the shortest and the surest path to liberation. Shortest, surest, um, and it's the recommended path for us for this Kali Yuga to chant the holy names of Krishna. One can achieve the result of wise philosophical speculation simply by discharging devotional service. And unless one reaches the point of understanding the personality of Godhead by his mental speculation, all his research work is said to be simply a labor of love. So I may do some philosophical research and I may do it for many lifetimes, but till the time I don't come to the conclusion that Krishna is God, understanding that God is a person, then my effort, which I have taken for lifetimes and lifetimes, is going to be wasted. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, Vedescha sarver aham eva vedyo. He says that by all the Vedas, I am to be known. That is the reason all the Vedas exist. For us to know Krishna, Vedescha sarver aham eva vedyo. So all the knowledge is there for us to come to the point of understanding Krishna. The ultimate destination of the wise philosopher is to merge in the impersonal Brahman. But that Brahman is the effulgence of the Supreme Person. So somebody may have the desire that that liberation for me means that I need to merge into the Brahma Jyoti. That's okay. But the point to understand is, where is this Brahma Jyoti coming from? That is the point to understand. Okay, we have this desire to merge in the Brahma Jyoti, that's all right. But where is the Brahma Jyoti coming from? Who does the Brahma Jyoti belong to? That is the intelligent question. So the Brahma Jyoti is the light coming from the body of God. God is a person. He's the supreme person. And so from his body is not material. We have to understand when we say body, just because right now our experience is all material and we think, oh, body means material. But the true form is in the spiritual world. The true body is in the spiritual world. So the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, text 27, Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasyava yasyacha. I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is indestructible and is the supreme bliss. So where is this Brahman coming from? Where is this Brahma Jyoti coming from? Krishna is saying to Arjuna in chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita text 27, that this Brahma Jyoti is coming from me. The Brahma Jyoti is indestructible. We cannot destroy this Brahma Jyoti. You know, we have certain bulbs. Their lives are maybe a year or 2 year, 3 year, then they stop giving the light. But we can see the example of the sun. The sun is material and it has been giving light and heat for millions and millions of years. So if a material object can give light for millions and millions of years, why not Supreme Lord? From the body of the Supreme Lord, this great light is coming, which is Brahman. And it is full of bliss. Brahman, to be on the Brahman platform, it is a spiritual platform. And so it is a blissful platform. The suffering is there in this material world, on the material platform, but on the platform of Brahman, it's all bliss. The Lord is the supreme reservoir of all pleasure, including Brahman pleasure. Therefore, one who has unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead is said to be already realized in impersonal Brahman and Paramatma. So where is this Brahman coming from? Okay, Brahman, being on the Brahman platform means we are going to be happy. So where is this Brahman coming from? It's coming from Krishna, from the body of Krishna. So who is the source of all pleasure? Is Krishna. Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. All pleasure exists because the pleasure exists in Krishna. That's the reason pleasure exists. If it didn't exist in Krishna, then there would not be any pleasure. Everything is existing because it's there with Krishna. Krishna is the origin of everything. So the pure devotee, because he's understood Krishna, the position of Krishna, that Krishna is God, that he is the person, and the position of the Brahmajyoti and the position of Paramatma, that the Brahmajyoti is the light coming from the body of Krishna, that the Paramatma feature is the feature by which Krishna is pervading this entire universe. He's entered into every atom of the universe as Paramatma. He's entered into the heart of every living entity as Paramatma. So the pure devotee is he's understood the position of Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. He has the complete understanding of the absolute truth. Well, absolute truth is unlimited. God is unlimited, but at least the understanding is clear that the God is a person, the Brahmajyoti is coming from him, the light coming from him, and Paramatma is his feature. Is that okay? Yeah. So then, yathendriye pratagvarer artho bahu gunashrayah eko nan ne yate tadvad bhagwan shastam vartamabhihi. A single object is appreciated differently by different senses due to its having different qualities. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, but according to different scriptural injunctions, he appears to be different. It appears that by following the path of Gyan Yoga or empiric philosophical speculation, one reaches the impersonal Brahman, whereas by executing devotional service in Krishna consciousness, one enriches his faith in and devotion to the personality of Godhead. But it is stated here that both Bhakti Yoga, sorry, that both Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga are meant for reaching the same destination, the personality of Godhead. So, Bhagavatam says, Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwan iti Shabdayate, that the learned transcendentalists understand the absolute truth as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. This is the absolute truth. Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. So when we are following the path of Gyan, then our understanding is that we come to the understanding that God, he exists, but he has no form. He does not have a form. So when we take the path of philosophical research, we come to that understanding that God is spirit. God is spirit, but he has no form. When we take the path of devotional service, of bhakti, then we come to the understanding that God is a person. Because who are we engaging in devotion to? Who is the object of our love? Has to be a person. So then we can understand that, oh yes, God is a person. Although both Gyan, the path of Gyan, the path of Bhakti, both are to reach God. Both are going to bring us to God, but just depends on which aspect of God are we able to understand. For example, a student, he enrolls in a school, so he's going to learn the mathematics. But in a lower grade, he will learn a simpler maths, and in higher grade, he'll learn more complicated. The subject is the same. Yeah, so that's the idea. That's the idea. The destination is the same. God. We have to come to the point of God. No matter what we do, we have to come to the point of understanding God, Krishna. Vedescha sarver aham eva vedya. And then what do we do once we come to Krishna? We surrender there. That's what Krishna says. Sarva dharmam parityagya. He says, surrender unto me. So by the process of Jnana Yoga, the same personality of Godhead appears to be impersonal, as the same object appears to be different when perceived by different senses. The same Supreme Lord appears to be impersonal by mental speculation. So Prabhupada is giving a nice example of how to understand this. A hill appears cloudy from a distance, and one who does not know may speculate that the hill is a cloud. Actually, it is not a cloud, it's a big hill. One has to learn from authority that the sight of a cloud is not actually a cloud, but a hill. So, we see a hill from far away, but it looks something cloudy. And if one doesn't know what's a hill, he will think that the hill is a cloud. But if he goes further, he goes closer towards the hill, then instead of seeing the cloud, he sees the hill and something green. When one actually approaches the hill, he will see many varieties. So this is what it is. When we try to understand God uh, through our own mental speculation, we will come to the understanding that God is impersonal, not a person. When we do further research, we will come to understand that he's the Paramatma in our heart. But when we do further research, we will come to understand him, that he's a person. It is a science. Understanding God, understanding our own self, it's a science. So it is going to happen that way. Just as Prabhupada gave the example, from far away we see the hill. It looks like a cloud, and so we may think, oh, a hill means a cloud. But if we go closer to the hill, we'll see, it looks like a hill, there's some green there. But if we are really interested to know the hill, we'll go really close by and we will go on the hill and we will understand that, oh, there is so many different things. There's waterfalls there, there's caves, there's, rivers, there's so many minerals, so many different things. So another example is in perceiving milk. When we see milk, we see that it is white. When we taste it, it appears that milk is very palatable. When we touch milk, it appears very cold. When we smell milk, it appears to have a very good flavor. And when we hear, we understand that it is called milk. Perceiving milk with different senses, we say that it is something white, something very delicious, something, sorry, something very aromatic, and so on. Actually, it is milk. Similarly, those who are trying to find the Supreme Godhead by mental speculation may approach the bodily effulgence or the impersonal Brahman, and those who are trying to find the Supreme Godhead by yoga practice may find him as the localized supersoul. But those who are directly trying to approach the Supreme Truth by practice of Bhakti Yoga can see him face to face as the Supreme Person. So this is the absolute truth. We may say, I believe in it, I don't believe in it, this is my faith, this is not my faith. It does not affect the absolute truth. This is the absolute truth. If I try to find God by my own strength without hearing about him from the devotees, without hearing about him from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, my understanding of God is going to be that he has no form. It is going to come to that point because I've not heard about him. I'm just trying to use my mind to understand God, and I will come to the conclusion that God has no form. And if I try to understand God by yoga practice, by meditation, then I will find God, I will understand God as the Paramatma in the heart. But if I try to find God by engaging in bhakti, then I will be able to understand that God is a person and we can see him face to face. So it just depends on what do we want? Do we want to understand the absolute truth in full, or do we want to have only a partial understanding of the absolute truth? Krishna does not interfere with that. He does not interfere with that. Ultimately, the Supreme Person is the destination of all different processes. But we have to understand that this, even if we understand that God is,
I just have one question.
yes.
So that means that according to our desires, in what particular guna we are at that moment, the God is revealed, right? That the path we are taking, or in what, uh, how we desire.
Yeah, there are these three paths. And which path we are taking, based on that, we will be able to have that understanding of God. Yes.
Yeah, so like according to our desire, right? Whichever
Yes.
path we take according to our desire, God reveals in that form. Though all three
Yes.
are complete God realization, but they're not complete God realization. Only the Bhagwan is the complete one. But still, they are realization, right?
That's right. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Other two are partial realization.
Okay.
The complete realization is to understand that God is a person. That is the complete realization. Because after all, he is the source. He's the source of the Brahman. Even if we come to the point of Brahman, but then the question arises, where is this Brahman coming from? Who has created the Brahman? Or if we come to the Paramatma feature, then, if the Paramatma feature is there, then where is this Paramatma feature coming from? And it all points to Krishna. But when we come to Krishna, who is the source of Krishna? No other source. He is the cause of all causes. Krishna is Sarva Karana Karanam. There is no other cause for Krishna. That is the point to understand.
Okay.
That once we come to Krishna, then the research work is finished. There's no further research to be done. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So ultimately, the Supreme Person is the destination of all different processes. The fortunate person who, by following the principles of scriptures, becomes completely purified of all material contamination, surrenders unto the Supreme Lord as everything. Just as one can appreciate the real taste of milk with the tongue and not with the eyes, nostrils, or ears, one can similarly appreciate the absolute truth perfectly and with all relishable pleasure only through one path, devotional service. So here the analogy Prabhupada is given is that if we really want to appreciate milk, then we have to drink it. That is the true way we will be able to appreciate the milk, just by looking at it, just by smelling it, just by hearing about milk. We can't truly appreciate the milk. As they say, the taste of the pudding is in eating. So by drinking the milk, we can really appreciate the milk. Similarly, we can truly appreciate the absolute truth. We can truly relish the absolute truth only through bhakti yoga, only through devotional service. Because then we can understand that God is a person. He has these amazing, amazing qualities. He's so loving. He's so kind. He's so compassionate. He's so humble. There's so wonderful qualities that Krishna has. We cannot appreciate the Brahman so much. Sure, we will feel peaceful. We will feel happy. But there is, because the form of God is not there in the Brahman, So the appreciation is very limited. Then in Paramatma feature, the appreciation is much more because we can see the form of God, can see the form of Paramatma, but yet the appreciation is not complete. Why? Because there is no interaction, there is no exchange, there is no relationship. So yes, the appreciation of the form is there. Oh, he's so beautiful. He has 4 hands and lotus eyes, wearing a Vajanti mala garland around his neck. So yes, so that appreciation is there. But not being able to appreciate his qualities, not able to appreciate being in a relationship with him. So when we engaging in bhakti can understand that God is a person, we can completely appreciate that, oh, he's so wonderful, because we can appreciate his form, we can appreciate his position, we can appreciate his wonderful qualities, his wonderful pastimes, his devotees. So the appreciation becomes complete. And that's the reason the pleasure that we can experience also is much greater when we can understand that God is a person by engaging in bhakti yoga, then only then the pleasure that we will experience by understanding that God is light. By understanding God is light, the appreciation, the pleasure, it is there. It's of course it's spiritual, so it's much greater than whatever material we feel. But yet, even in spiritual life, there are degrees. So it is still very less compared to as understanding that God is a person. So should we stop here for today and continue tomorrow with this, if that's okay?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
okay.
Thank you so much for listening and joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hare Krishna.